Good day everybody, welcome back to the studio. I'm going to show you today, just continuing with this painting. Oh, where am I? Here it is. So all those bumpy bits, they have dried up. The texture paste worked really well. So, but anyway, before I start, I'm just going to show you a little trick that I've just discovered about how I cut my little skins. So stay tuned, maybe you like it, maybe you won't, but oh well, I'll show you anyway. Okay, so what you can see here is just a little blender. I love using this blender for cooking usually, you know, for mixing food and stuff like that. But I wanted to see if I can quickly trim up some of my, these are already done, so I can take those out. I'll just pour them out here and just show them to you. Some of them turn into dust and some of the bits just turn into small little pieces, which I want different sizes anyways. And this is fairly thin. See, look at that. You can even rip it, some of them, with your fingers, just like that. So I suppose you can see that one's a bit harder to do. But, you know, it's time consuming. We all know what I think about that. So now I lost my bag with all my... Oh, here they are, hiding under the painting. Okay, so I've got a bag full of them, and what I'm going to do is pop this thing back in there, and then just pop them in. There's all kinds of different sizes. Some of them are a little bit harder, and some are quite thin and soft. So what I'm going to do is going to pop the whole thing in there, and just give it a whiz, and then see what comes out. Yes, I will use this machine again for food because, you know, all I'll do is give it a good wash and a clean. There's no holes or anything like that in there where all that resin can escape. So, yep, just block your ears for a second and I will start waiting. Okay, out they go, out with this. I'm just checking to see if it's good enough for me. If I have, you know, the pieces that I want, some of them bigger, some of them are smaller. Like I said, I can just go around and cut those ones if I want to. But yeah, I'm happy with the rest of it. Pop that one maybe. That'll be it. All done. What, took like 10 seconds? Okay, so just showing you everything that fitted in this bag now fits in this little bag. Okay, and just to show you the difference, these ones I've cut just with scissors. They fly everywhere and they're kind of triangular, and these ones you can see through the bag. See how nice and... Look at that. Some of them are bigger, some smaller, some grind up into dust, which is fine. Speaking of dust, do wear a mask when you're doing this. If you do it, anything you do with resin or resin skin or dust like this, you're breathing it in and it's very harmful. So take care of yourself, okay? Don't... have fun, but you know, be safe. So I'm just going to get my alcohol wipe. You can use anything wet really, but because I have these alcohol wipes available to me pretty cheap and they're always around, I'm just going to use it to clean my table because it's easier to pick up all of this dust and all these small little pieces. Dust is the main one that I want to get rid of. So, oh, and see that there is just, it's like really hard rubber now. That's just acrylic paint. Okay, so I can use that as well. There's more over here. Use whatever you can. Resin is an amazing adhesive. It'll just glue everything together. As long as you've got a good surface, so it's not going to lift on you. But once it's in resin, it stays in there, baby. It's not, ain't going nowhere. Alright. Table is messy with resin and acrylic paint and pigments, but it's dust free now, which is what I wanted. Okay, let me get myself cleaned up and organized here. Okay, I'm back now. I just went through some of my bits and pieces of skins here and picked out some that look a little bit like fish, which I can, that fish looks pretty cool there, but you know, I can pop that in there if I wanted to and just continue with the tail, draw a tail on there. This one is really cool because see how it's got that pattern underneath there from this plastic. So when you kind of, and because it's a transparent, you can really see that there. It just resembles scales on the fish, which is pretty cool. So what I did with this was, it was just a piece of skin like this, and I heated it up a little bit with, I just pop it here, the heat gun, just to soften it. So it's not too thick, this one, and that will soften it enough, but you have to work fast. See how that's nice and soft? Oh, this is actually softer than the other one. And then what I did was I just cut out a shape of a fish. You can draw it, well, you don't have to. So this fish looks like it's seen better days, you know. Oh, this is just for the purpose of showing you how to, oh, okay, here we go. So I could even cut it there, actually, and then there we go. So that's one part of the fish, like that, and then I can just create a little tail out of here. Might have a bit bitten out of its tail. Another big bully fish came and got it, and it's cutting pretty easy because it's not too thick. So there you go. That can be like a tail that I can add to it. I've actually drawn, because I found this skin, this is much thicker than down here, so I was thinking of cutting that up, so I might heat that up as well real quick. Soften it. You can do it on both sides. Ooh, and that wants to break there. Don't. Okay, so then I'll just cut these hard bits that are harder to cut first before it starts cooling on me and hardening again. And you can even turn it around, but I won't. Okay, this is just, I just drew it with the Posca pen because it comes off real easy. And then you can use the rest of that skin for something else if you want. That'll come off now. Now this bit here, which I won't turn it because I can't see. Wish I could cut with my left hand. Gotta go this way now. Right in there, like that. A little bit of a delicate operation, but there you go. I've got a fish. And now that Posca pen will rub off, or you don't have to rub it off if you don't want to. And leave it on there. That's pretty cool. I might just cut that bit there as well. Oops. And then you can even just go like this, make it more feathery. Just like that. Some bits fall off, some you cut through. See that? Just gives you that extra effect. Okay. Shaping it up a little bit. So moving along. Don't want to take too long on that bit, but you will see that some of them might raise even. So pop him somewhere down here, maybe like that. So I found some pretty interesting ones which I will add like a tail or something like that to it. This one might even cover this bit here or up here actually, like that, and then I just draw around it. I might just pop them somewhere else. These little clear ones I thought I might just use to turn them into like jellyfish. This one's real interesting because it's actually got something stuck in there. I think it's just like a shimmery pigment, but it's inside it. It's pretty thick, and that's gonna really give me a good effect of a jellyfish. So I might put a couple there and then put another one over here just to give it a bit of a... Okay, and then I'm gonna have some of my rocks, which I will place down first. So I'll get rid of all of these. Good idea is to take a photo of things, or even do an outline just with a pen, so you know where you're gonna be putting these little elements into your painting. But I won't do that because it doesn't really matter to me where I place them. I'll be moving them around anyway. So, but it's just something that you can do if you are... Oh, I left the tail behind. Fish is tailless. Okay, that one and that one just... Okay, so got some gems. These are real gems. You can use anything. And what I was thinking is just scattering them in the bottom. Oh, that one just wants to stay in there. Or I might even leave it in there if it wants it so badly. You gotta just maybe even... Actually, I might even put some more in there. Can be like some corals in there. I've got some rainbow moonstone, which I can also scatter down the bottom there, or up here. I will see how I go. I've got some rough crushed glass. It's a blue glass, rough crushed. And then I've got some acrylic beads, which I might just scatter down here. You color these in resin. I've got some fragrant salt. I actually had it in a plastic little baggie, and I had no idea what it was because it didn't have any label on it. So I actually tasted it. I know, but it's salty and smells real good. So it's just fragrant salt, which smells real nice. That's gonna go in the painting, but I will use that in here and see what happens, just to see what happens. What else? Oh yes, and I will definitely be scattering these all over the bottom. They're real nice and shimmery. I'm gonna make sure that sun kind of catches this coral, because this is what it's gonna be, like a coral, and then you can see it caught in the light, in the sunshine. So let me mix some resin and get crack-a-lackin'. So of course, as I'm moving along, I always think of something else to do. I'm going to use this as a coral looking like thing, or somebody suggested actually in YouTube comments to have like a sea sponge, just color it in a yellowish orange kind of color, which this is what that can be. I might just continue and turn this into a fish. You know, there is a sea creature called the honeycomb Murray, and it's the ugliest fish. It looks like an eel, and it just looks so scary. So I was going to try and put that in here, but this is not it. This is just going to be a nice little fish, like maybe coming down. Maybe put an eye in there somewhere, and just draw a little tail over here. Nice tail. This is a cool little fish. This is just a little guideline for me. I will use some pigments for this, but this is just a little guideline. See how it's going down there? I can even pop some, fill in these holes with the pigment and make it, yeah, that's what I'm going to do, I think. Okay, so over here, so this is going to be about like a spongy thing that's going to be yellow, so I will be filling it in with orange and yellow. And this up here, I have no idea, because I want the coral to be down here and not all the way up there. So I could continue drawing something here, or I can see, because there's nothing in there. God, I've got to think now. While I'm thinking, okay, I might draw something. That bit there you can't see, this bit here you can see. A little bit tricky to do. I will paint over it, over the resin again, so that'll be flat underwater, under resin. Okay, so that looks, and this one you'll be able to see just a little bit of it. Okay. No, it's supposed to be that thing and a little rope, like, not a rope, just like a chain. And that there's going to be under, so you won't be able to see that part there. Okay, still thinking about this, bloody hell, what to do. Maybe I should just close my eyes and do something. I'll just keep going like this and see what I get, okay? I might get something. I hope the honeycomb Murray doesn't jump out and bite me. Maybe that can be the nearly said Murray cod. Not the Murray cod, the honeycomb Murray. Scary, scary, scary thing. At the moment, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going around. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. Maybe it can even be a shark. Ooh. Dum 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 dum. I'll have to cover this bit here. I don't think I'll do the honeycomb Murray. I don't want a scary thing in here. I want to make it tranquil and peaceful. Can be a fish. That looks a bit like a tail that's been bitten off a little bit. This here can continue like that. Maybe it can be a shark. Get a fin up there happening. So many things you can do. Now I can kind of sand that down and get rid of it, which is probably what I will do. I should look at a photo of a shark and instead of just going ahead like this. I could make it a real big fat shark. Just continue down here. With an open mouth. Let's have a mouth open. There we go. That looks a bit like an open mouth now. Yeah, I'm gonna get ya. Look at that. And this little fish is like, oh my god, wrong way. This one. Okay, so that worked out. I can even fill that in with colour and make it looking pretty cool. It's got stuff bitten off its tail too. Alrighty, that's what happens when I go into my own world. Yeah. So this is going to be yellow. This here, not sure what I'm going to do there, but I'm sure it'll come to me. Okay. Oh my god. I will be back. Okay, I drew a little anchor there. Looks okay, but then, you know, I wanted to add something here with that chain kind of thing that usually you'll see on an anchor. And then I decided, because I already had this wire with these the hooks on them, I decided to just create an anchor just with this wire, which is not hard. I've never done it before, so I'm sure that you can do it real easy. just going with the flow. It's something that will resemble it, and it'll look interesting. It will give me a little bit of texture. So I can twirl these together like that. Use some pliers, that will really help you. I'm just rushing around now because I want to see how it will look, you know. Just excited to have it done. And I might not have enough. I might have to add another piece. So I'm just going to go up with this wire. I should probably just go up like that and then twirl the whole thing. Oops, sorry if I'm coming out of your screen. Okay, well that's not bad. It's not half bad actually. Might leave a little bit because I think I want to add this thing over here with another piece. Might not need it. Let's see. Just grab my pliers and unscrew this because I've already got it there, see? I think that's not a bad idea actually. And then I've got enough wire here. This wire is really sharp, so I've got to be careful not to prick myself. I was going to say, this wire can be a real prick, literally. Okay, so I'll fiddle with that and I'll be back. Tell you what, I did a real good job of winding that together. That wasn't going anywhere. I'm just going to cut it here, and I can use that bit of steel anyway under here. It's going to add, see how it's all full. I'm just going to leave it there, and I just cut it so I don't prick myself because I had all those bits and pieces that was hanging out. Just want to unwind it, and wow, which way does this go now? Going all over the place there. Oh yay, got it. So here we go. That's going to be the bit. Let me just push this down a little bit because I've got those pricky bits. So here we go. Ooh, managed to get myself. I'm ruining my nails. I was so excited that I could just paint my nails the other day. I felt like a girl again. So here we go, about to there. I'm not sure how far they go. I'll just leave it about there. And then what I'm going to do is just twirl it around a bit. Get off there. I'll fix it all up after. I'm just doing a rough job now, you know. One more. There we go. So now that I've come to the end of it, now you don't have to do this with wire. I'm sure you can find some bits of material, a bit of steel or something like that to do it with, but you know, I just had this on hand. That's why I'm doing it. That's what I always do. It's my thing. Whatever you have handy, and then make something out of it. Okay, this is looking a little bit rough now. In comes the pliers, because they're definitely stronger than my hand. Oh, actually, I'm going the wrong way. And I think I might make it with this piece. If I do, I'll be real lucky. About there. Like that. Alrighty. Just keep going around, winding it on around. It's going to be immersed in resin. What am I doing? It's not winding. Okay, so here we go. It's going to be immersed in resin, so I'll make sure that all the prickly, pokey bits stay in. Now it's just a matter of, okay, so that's not too bad, is it? So I'm just going to play with that to straighten it up a little bit. Make it look a little bit more realistic. Just going around. Put that in there. Alright, so I'll just keep going, see how that's still not right, so I'll just keep going with that and use the pliers, and you can get another set of pliers and hold this bit here and then press that together. And I'm always looking for things to help me out with things to make it easier for me. Like that. So I just hope while I'm playing with this I don't wreck that, because I actually quite like the way that's looking. Okay. Okay, so here's my anchor. Look how cute that is. And because I didn't, there's that piece. That was the idea. I don't know how I did it without, you know, actually doing what I meant to do. I had to cut that bit off, the screw part off here, because that was meant to sit like this, and that the screw part was supposed to be intertwined in there. But that's okay, I cut it, and I pinched myself too with the pliers, which is not fun. So that's going to sit in here like that, and I might just get a little bit more wire and just have it. I really wanted, no, I should go that way or this way. Maybe go that way and try to turn around that like so, because I want this sitting over here. And then maybe get another piece of wire, maybe this, and just twirl it around there and have it. I'll double it up so it looks like, you could even, if I can find a piece of chain, I'll see if I can find that. I usually have some chain hanging about somewhere from something, and then just click it on there and let it actually, chain will be better than this. Okay, so let's go find that chain and see what it looks like. I found the chain. It's just like a cheap piece of jewelry, and it's got a link which I'm going to try to, oh yep, look at that, link it onto that and just kind of have it sitting whichever way and falling into there, and maybe just, you know, because I put the whole thing in there, so I'm just going to cut it right here. Right here. There we go. Put that in my little box for later. So I'm just going to have that kind of sitting like that. And pour my resin. Just naturally kind of let it fall down there. Here we go. Just like that. Look at that. Is that cool or what? I think it's cool. And it's moving in the water because there's fish around, swimming around and doing their stuff there. Right, so I think it's time to mix some resin now. Right, so I've mixed my resin, and I'm just going to set the scene here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up the top and work my way down the bottom. So I'm going to mix a little bit of, let's just pop a little bit of this Cambridge blue, and just get a stick and pop some in there. That's going to be our shark. So I'm not going to cover the whole area just yet. Well, that's the idea anyway. Well, we'll see what happens. I never know. But it's just an idea. I'm just going to give this a bit of a mix and turn it into a thick paste. Like that. Ideally, excuse me, with what I'm about to do now, I would want the resin to start curing a little bit before I start using it, because I want it to be thick, but I'm too impatient. I just want to get on with it, and I really want to I try and fit everything in this one video, but it's already been going on for quite some time, so gosh, we'll see. Gotta stand up for this one so I can have a better view up here. And let's just go, I might just fill in some of these holes with this. Then I don't want to fill it in too much, just to give it like an outline of this shark. This is Cambridge blue. I think it's a good colour for this, and hopefully this won't keep running. That would be a disaster. Keep pulling it, pull it over this way. That's, the shark has like a pointy nose. I want it to, okay, so far so good. Fingers crossed, everybody. Just keep going like this. And push this back so it doesn't pull any further. Okay, so I had to shorten this video a little bit because it went well over an hour. So I've cut out some parts of it. What I'm doing here is I'm adding some of that Cambridge blue because I had some left over in a little cup from doing my shark, and just adding it to the boat just to give it a little bit of a shimmer, because it's a pigment paste and it's a pearlescent, so it's got a bit of a kind of a metal luster to it, which is perfect for this, you know, what I'm doing now. And just covering some areas that you can see with the sunlight kind of shining through the water, and you can see some bits of the boat showing. I will cover the whole piece with resin eventually. This took, you know, quite some time to do, and I really was hoping that I would do the whole piece in this one video, but I thought I might just kind of break it up a little bit so that you get a real education, I suppose, especially for newbies, on how I did things step by step. Even though I cut out some bits of the video, the important bits I'm still showing here. So what I'm doing here is I'm just applying some clear resin just as a bit of a glue for my resin skins, which I have chopped up. You would have seen that earlier in a blender. Who would have thought that a good old kitchen blender can chop up resin? But it's real thin skin, so it had no trouble at all chopping it up, and it only took a few seconds to do. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to add those flakes, I will call them resin flakes, and create a bit of a scene at the bottom of the painting there of coral like kind of illusion. So just going around with my fingers and making sure that I dab into those little holes that I've gotten from the, you know, the bubble wrap. And now just adding, rather sprinkling some of that, the resin, the flakes, and just kind of letting them fall naturally, and then helping them spread out a little bit with my stick. And all the bits that are sticking out a little bit, because they're not perfectly flat, a lot of them, some of them tend to stick out a bit, so I kind of push them down, and you may even see some parts where I actually have to break some up to make them sit flatter. And now I'm just putting my little sinker in there, my anchor rather, and I don't know where I got sinker from. Oh well, the boat sunk, so it didn't really work well, the anchor, did it? Anyway, just positioning it properly so that it looks like it's sort of sitting in a bit of that coral, and it's been sitting there for quite some time, so it's intermingled with all that coral. Adding a little bit more clear resin over it, and then I will cover part of my anchor with some of that coral like resin flake, just to make it appear like it's poking out of the coral, which had grown around that anchor. You know, just a little bit of imagination. I haven't really researched this a lot. The only thing really that I researched was the shark and some of the fish, you know, and that honeycomb kind of thing. And you'd be amazed at all kinds of things that you can find on Google. It's just amazing. Just depends on how you word it, you know, and the things that you come up with. So I'm putting in my treasure chest now. It's only a little treasure chest, but it's full of treasure. So you will see that I will add some little diamond, they're just like crystals in there, acrylic crystals, they're not real crystals, and they didn't really show very well. So what I did was I got some Le'Rez Stardust pigment, which is a glitter powder, very, very fine, and I sprinkled some over the top of those little gems that are kind of popped in there, and just to give it a bit of shine and a bit of shimmer, and give it an illusion of some treasure pouring out of that treasure chest, and just kind of dabbing them down a little bit. And then after that I figured, oh, there's got to be some gold in there as well, so I grabbed some bright gold and pigment powder and just sprinkled that on top as well, and dab that in as well. So it looked quite effective at the end of the piece. So just going around now, and I don't know, I lost myself in here because this is all sped up, so the video is moving quite fast, and I have trouble keeping track of what I'm doing next. That's it. That's that stardust going in there now. And I'm trying to pop in some of that blue crushed glass, but I figured it was just too rough and too big, so I only put a couple of pieces in there, and that was enough to do that. But the colour is absolutely gorgeous, so I wanted to include some of them in there, but not too many, because I didn't want this piece to be too, you know, to be raised, some of the areas to be raised too much. Okay, I've added a couple of shells. They're real, like, ugly kind of shells, but they work. Okie dokie. Here it is. It looks very, very cool at the bottom there. So just gonna go zoom in. There's my little treasure box right there. Oh, it's moved. I'm gonna have to move it back and add some more of that stardust in there. But my anchor looks great there. All this stuff that's happening at the bottom, that's going to be painted. There's my shark. I will go around with some acrylic paint and just fix up the outline of it. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and let me know what you think so far. I'm real excited about this one. Bye for now.